you have her ID?
Cell phone. No, I don't want to give it to you. Why do I have to?
Because my attorney said not to.
Why do I have to give it to you? This is evidence. She's under arrest. I have to go with. I have to go. I have to look at the.
Let me help you out.
No, I have to stay. Please don't do this. You need to grab the bags. Take the bags. Yeah, and you need to wait outside. Okay.
My husband's almost 80 years old. He can't
Yeah,
come
I
with
can't.
me.
Please, can I help?
No, you can't join me there.
Oh, don't do this, please.
Please.
Oh,
Someone's
God.
got to help him get home. This is terrible. You can't do this. This is insane.
Is that okay with you?
Please. You don't have to have the handcuffs on her. She's not going anywhere. Please. Please.
You have anything in your pocket?
No.
Do you have anything of value in you?
No, I
Does she have a necklace on?
What I
You
got?
can take
My-
the necklace off.
Yeah, take it off. Yeah.
And the earrings.
And the earrings. They're
You are listening to the Roberta Glass True Crime Report, putting the true back in true crime. From New York City, Roberta Glass is now on the record. Okay, can everybody hear me? I'm having some weird issues. I don't know if I'm going through my mic or what. Yeah, maybe. Okay. I don't know if this is live or what. It looks like WCTV has it. Okay. Let's see if they're doing it, if they have a YouTube channel that they're doing this on. And go to their lives. 6 months ago video. Huh. I know Surviving the Survivor is waiting. Maybe I'll just use their feed. I don't want to, they're just waiting for it to start. How is everybody? It's not live. It's on their website front page. Thank you. Who said that? Raven, you're a gem. Thank you, Raven. I just took a chance. I was like, well, everyone was asking if I was going to stream it. WCTV. Here we go. Okay. I'm hoping this works. I might see if you can hear this because I'm having issues with my computer. I'm not sure why. But let's see if this does it. Okay. Let me just see if something else like works on, like, I don't know, go to Patty's. See if you can hear this, because I'm worried about just my setup. I don't know if my equipment is working correctly today, guys. This may be a big bust. Let me pull this out for a second and let me know if you hear the audio. Oh, wait, here it is.
Just going back and looking at the dates and the different cutoffs. 4:30 is the discovery cutoff by order right now. Ms. Dugan, as to providing Sergeant Corbett's presentation, why is this going to be so lengthy?
He's just working on the cases that are in front of him right now, but he has assured me that he's going to be working on this presentation as soon as he possibly can. I don't know of any new information in the presentation than what's already been given to him. It's more of formatting and making it look better as opposed to anything substantive. And my memory, if it serves me correctly, is that prior defense counsel's deposition of him was done after the same, as far as them getting the copy of what we were going to use, as far as everything substantive we were possibly going to use is in there. But, you know, the final result might look better at trial and be formatted in a different way. But substantively, it was all there. We certainly, and we want to be reasonable. We do object to, as far as all of these witnesses, they sent us about 24 hours they need to depose several witnesses. We worked with them to get times that we are available, and we'll continue to do that. Some of the witnesses have never been deposed before. We obviously have no objection to that. Some of the witnesses have been deposed by prior counsel of other co-defendants. Looking at the rule 3.220, it says any cases, including ones with multiple co-defendants or even consolidated cases, no one should be deposed more than one time unless good cause is shown. If it's something that pertains to their client that's, new, we don't have any objection to that. But as far as just setting these people for hours and asking them a lot of the same information that's already been said in prior depots, we would object to ask and answer to not want those people to have to be deposed again. And then as far as the folks that they named, I think it was Agent Sanford and Corbett and Rob Adelson, that Donna Adelson's former counsel has deposed. As the court said, we would ask that good cause be shown. We're fine with that being ex parte and in camera, but we would ask to have that done, be able to weigh in on that from our side as well in those same situations, and object to them being deposed again. If there is some new information in Corbett's presentation as of April 30th that they didn't know about before, we would absolutely be fine with him being deposed on that information, but just not having to go back through what's already been said with hours and hours of depots and prior testimony.
All right. What I am not fine with is moving this trial date if it does not need to take place. April 30th is the discovery cutoff. We're going to leave that in place for now. Everyone is to work accordingly up to the deadline. If it has to be extended, it will. But there's still 2.5 months to that point, right?
Yes, sir.
We'll drop the motion, Judge.
Yes, sir. And, certainly, by way of a brief response, and I will be brief, the rule cited by the state contemplates that the co-defendants are all being tried at the same time or have all been arrested. It defies logic to believe that
These trials have been spaced out. They are not co-defendants that are linked by one information.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Lastly, this morning I provided a proposed order to the court from the August 30th and September 6th motions in limine. I prepared those based on the transcripts that I had prepared of those hearings. I provided them to the state twice over the last month and have not gotten a final answer. Does Your Honor want me to submit the transcripts from those hearings?
You can do so. I'll review them. Ms. Dugan, as the proposed order, is the state objecting to it, or you haven't had an opportunity to review it?
I did speak with Ms. Kaplan about that, and we reviewed it. We don't have any objection.
Very well. I'll still review the transcripts to ensure it is accurate, but trust but verify. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. There are some additional motions to suppress and a handful of motions in limine. I'm hoping to get the motions to suppress filed in the next week to 10 days so that those can be heard properly. The motions in limine, we're certainly going to try and get those filed early to mid-April so we can get those heard as well. I just wanted to let the court know that the motion to suppress that we filed last week is not the only one that's coming.
I believe the date that we're going to have for the pretrial motions, that was going to take place on Friday, May 16th. Obviously, more that can be heard prior to then will lessen the burden on that day, but anything that's still outstanding, that's the day it's going to be heard before we move into trial posture.
Yes, sir. Certainly with the scope and breadth of the motions that we are working on, we'll try and get those on your calendar much sooner. And lastly, I wanted to update the court on the expert that has been retained. I spoke with them for the motion for change of venue. I spoke with them yesterday, Mrs. Fulford and I did, and they are intending to provide us with the end product by the end of the first week of March. And as soon as we have that, we'll be providing that to the state and get that set, provide that to the court as well and get it set for a hearing.
All right. Concerning this report, and I'll leave this to your judgment, but do any of these matters need to be filed under seal to alleviate essentially the issue you're complaining of for the motion?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Ms. Dugan, does the state have anything to raise today?
No, sir.
Upcoming through the deadlines, as we've spoken about before, the discovery deadline will be April 30th. We'll also have one last case management on March 25th at 2:30. As needed from there, we'll have different hearings on the motions, and we'll continue to move to June 3rd.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We are in recess. Let's move on with calling the other matters this afternoon.
That's it? What a nothing burger hearing.
Jail, that concludes the appearance for Mrs. Adelson. She's finished. Have a good afternoon.
Whoa, she's finished. Did everybody hear that? What a nothing burger. What to talk about? I mean, that they're worried that they're not going to go to trial on time. So we have a June 1st. Hold on a second. I have the TV feed in my ear. They're worried that they're not going to meet the June 3rd trial date, which does seem awfully quick, but come on. The state was ready to go a year and a half ago. When did this whole kerfuffle happen? Was it last spring? So yeah, Patty wasted all that gasoline. I don't think it's ever a waste to go. You always learn something when you go to court, I find. But was the first part Robert? Yeah, I blinked and I missed it. I was so concerned with just getting the feed up. I'm going to have to listen to it again. But her motion is very interesting that she says she was extorted extorted and beat up, and her commissary, she was ordering 2 commissaries because they were coming in and stealing her commissary. One big woman was, and when she didn't come herself, she sent a representative to steal Donna's commissary. And they said, because the food is so inedible. It really is terrible in jail. And that's something that you never see, the wrongful conviction movement, etc. Try to get our jails a little bit better, and our jails and prison a little bit better. I understand it shouldn't be a cakewalk, but come on. It's just starch and company. And so she's saying the food is inedible, so she has to order commissary and it's being stolen. Then her arm is being twisted behind her back, but she couldn't get a appointment with the doctor immediately. It was till February. This happened in October. And by the time she went, they asked her about her shoulder and she said, what happened? Not naming anyone. And they put her in protective custody. Now she's angry she's in protective custody. Because I think she was quite enjoying the social aspect of prison and the high control aspect of prison, where she could go where she wanted to go, do what she wanted to do. And she knew what, to an extent. I understand it's jail, but everything is mapped out and scheduled. And I would think that Donna would really enjoy that. And after years of living in panic that she's going to be arrested any moment, it's already happened. And there are no surprises in her day, except, I guess, getting extorted, if this is even a true story. Hard to know if it's true or not. But now she wants out on bail because of this. And they say she's not a flea risk, which makes me laugh. And I was listening on Allison Galvani's channel, My Father's Alibi, before I came on, and she was playing AA Legal Focus, and they were saying, oh, it's really not Dan Rashbam's fault for telling her to flee. But I really like AA Legal Focus, nothing against her, but I do disagree with her a little bit, because someone tipped off Donna that the grand jury was going to indict her and told her, maybe you'll get out in time, maybe you won't. What was she getting out in time for? It was the grand jury indicting her. So she left on a Sunday night. The grand jury in Tallahassee meets on a Wednesday. So Dan Rashbam was really helping her flee the law by saying, maybe you'll make it, don't give up your phone. So I don't know if that's an actionable as far as the rules, Florida rules of lawyers, but I would think it wouldn't be, I would think it would be frowned upon. I mean, here, here's a clip. Let's just watch it.
Let me set this up. So this is a wiretap between Donna and Charlie, which I should have set up earlier. And she's talking to Charlie. This is now after the conviction. I'm sorry, this is a jailhouse call after the conviction. And Donna invokes a name, and it is Dan. Let's listen one more time, then I'll ask Dan some questions. They're actually from Patreon member Bobby.
So after speaking to Dan this morning and knowing what they're thinking up there, I don't know if we'll make it out in time. I really don't. Because Dan said, you might, or you might do all of this, get to the airport, and they'll stop us. And that could happen. It could happen. I don't know, but it's worth a try.
Dan, I got to say, this doesn't look too good either, what they call a bad fact. From Patreon member Bobby, is it you that she is referring to? And did you have prior knowledge of her flight?
So I'm going to read what I've written here so I don't screw this up. Because I anticipated this question would come. I can't talk about what I said or didn't say because it's privileged. What I can say is that at the time Donna Adelson went to the airport, she was a free woman. What I can say is there was no indictment to anyone's knowledge. We know now there wasn't one. There was no grand jury that we knew was convened. We know now it wasn't convened till after. And there was no arrest warrant that was known of. In fact, we know the arrest warrant, I think, was just obtained hours before the flight. Again, she had offered to surrender at any point in time from 2016 on. I know that because I had made that offer. She did nothing wrong by going to the airport. Okay. Now, I cannot tell you what I advised her, what I knew, or what I didn't know. But what I can tell you for certain is that I acted within my ethical obligations. And what I can tell you for certain is that no crimes were committed by her going to the airport. And that's why she wasn't charged with any sort of crimes related to that. That's what I can tell you at this point in time.
And Dan, you're going to see some of the comments, and I'm bringing them up here because look, Jody Arrington, nice lawyer talk. And then we've got this, not good that he had to write a prepared statement to respond. And, you know.
So let me answer that. Let me answer that.
Please do.
So I'm at there's very little I can say here because I have obligations to my client, right? And I have obligations to the system. So I wrote a prepared statement so that I could meet those obligations and didn't mess up and by accident give away something that I shouldn't say because I'm a human being. And so I'm following the instructions of an ethics lawyer that I consulted with in order to make sure that I'm following my ethical obligations. Now, having said that, this is another example. Now it's on me, a lawyer, where there's really nothing I can say to appease your audience, right? I can't say what I advised or what she advised because it's privileged.
I mean, can you tell us, did you say, Donna, get out of here, run to Vietnam?
I cannot say what I said and what I didn't say because it's privileged.
Can you tell us if she had a plan for once she got to Vietnam? What was she going to do? Sit there and backpack? Like, did you have any?
I cannot say what I said or what my client said to me because it's privileged. What I can tell you, and it's the most I can tell you, is that there was nothing wrong with her traveling. And the state had the absolute right to do what they did, which is when they learned of her travel, speed up their plans to arrest her. That's the best that I can tell you at this point in time. I'm sure you'll hear more about it at trial.
Hey, was she traveling or was she just going to the airport for the Cinnabons? At first he said there's nothing wrong with her going to the airport. And I thought that might be your defense. That's why they arrested her on the jetway. So she couldn't say like, look, we just came here because of we like the massage chairs and the fine ambiance of the airport. We weren't traveling. We just had a souvenir ticket. We weren't going to use it. So then he admits she was traveling, and it's curious that he consulted a ethics lawyer because he knows there's something ethically and it may just be that, and I may understand wrong, and maybe what he was consulting an ethical lawyer about was he didn't want to ruin her chances of a fair trial by saying too much, etc., or giving up strategy, but when I hear ethics lawyer, I hear that my mind goes to that he's worried about his ethics and getting written up by the bar for this because Donna mentions him so often. My lawyer says, don't give up my phone. Dan says we might make it out. And knowing what they're thinking, right, up there in Tallahassee, maybe we'll make it out. Anybody remember that phone call with Donna? And we know now because we've seen some of the discovery, Donna's searches for non-extradition countries is coming in. All this shows consciousness of guilt, fleeing the country before trial. An innocent person will say, well, they can't have any evidence against me because I wasn't involved in Dan Markel's murder for hire plot. But what guilty person says, get me on the next plane whenever to a place where they can't bring me back easily. And there's all Harveys. I went over all Harveys back and forth, securing the place and then trying to get the money back. So it's all coming in. What the evidence that I'm most anxious to see, and I don't know if I'll ever see it, is the evidence or the whatever Wendy's lawyer friend blew the whistle on her after being friends with her and is at Wendy's ex-friend. That evidence has to be specific to Wendy and her knowledge of this plot. To me, it's clear if you drive by the crime scene exactly at the time after it happens with no reason to drive by, it isn't a shortcut, that you were seeing if it was done, and your phone and you're texting back and forth on a encrypted app to your brother right before and after. So I think you're involved if those are the facts, and those are the facts against Wendy in this. She did a 3-point turn and got the heck out of there. So I'm curious to see what the ex-friend had to say. But I think that if Donna gets acquitted in this, we'll never see Wendy get arrested. I think there's a good chance that if Donna gets easily, just like Charlie did, easily convicted, like Charlie did, we're going to see a arrest for Wendy. That's my prediction. So it really depends. It depends on whether Donna's trial goes well. Now, who said, I think it was Sailing Nuts, that she misses Rashbam. I miss Rashbam too, because I think he's not a strong criminal defense lawyer. And now she has two, what I hear are fairly strong defense lawyers representing her. It's a hard case to defend, but they may do a little bit better than Rashbam. I just never understood Donna's complete faith in Rashbam. I just never understood why she thought he was the greatest. He was a civil lawyer and I don't think the best thing he did, but was also the worst thing in Charlie's case, is fully prepare him for direct and cross-examination. But in fact, he couldn't deal with his arrogance. He couldn't really control his arrogance, and he knew too much. His memory was too good. He had an answer for everything, so it didn't come across well. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see. I'm not sure when Donna's next hearing is. Hopefully it'll be more interesting, but I don't think she has a chance in heck of getting free on bail. My understanding is there is no bail for this kind of crime in Florida. And even if they were going to make some kind of precedence exception, you don't give bail to someone who's caught fleeing. You just don't. So I'll be back hopefully at 6 to talk about Karen Reed's new interview. She's got a new story. She's changed her story. Apparently, we've gone from we all know who did it to we don't know. When she said we all know who did it, we all doesn't mean Karen Reed, apparently, and her lawyers. We all wasn't including them. So she's got a new story. She's giving interviews to very friendly media, Ted Daniels. I'll be talking about that at 6. Have a great night, everybody. See you at 6. Thanks for listening.
You plotted a murder, 'cause you wanted to raise your daughter's kid. Tallahassee is just a stop on the way to civilization. Miami is where all the fancy people are at. The TV is about 5. You can't get away from that. Two-toe, tay-toe, hoo-ho, you know the guy you pay, and you can't get away from that. Oh, Donna, what a stitch you're in. You thought jail was just for the little people, but now you're so blankets with the locked up crew. You're a grandmother in lockdown, and your one-way ride to freedom you blew. Oh, Donna, what a stitch you're in. Your family are exiled from the social circles you swam in. We all know you never made that banana bread or offered to babysit for Dan, but you'll soon be making license plates and thinking about what could have been.